Good morning again, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I am your host, Tiffany Daniels, and ladies and gentlemen, non-binary and binary, and, all the genders out there, Merry Stupid O'Clock. And I'm sure you all know what that means. It means we go back to that awful world this morning that is known as the JRC. And we are continuing on with the third part of Jennifer Msumba's testimony, which she gave permission to the Autism Self Advocacy Networks to go ahead and publish on their main channel. Now, you will find the link to that right there in the description box, as well as other pertinent links to the Stop the Shocks campaign. The two most important right now, the templates, where all you fill out is your name, click on your senator's name. It literally takes less than 5 minutes, folks. We are trying to get improper restraints out of schools. We are trying to get all public funding removed from the JRC. Sign the templates. It takes less than 5 minutes. We also include the the change.org shut the Judge Rotenberg Center down petition. Sorry, can't talk or think. It's stupid o'clock. Forgive me, all right? Folks, the JRC has been a slippery bunch ever since the horrors of what they have done at their center became public for the first time all the way back in 1986. They always find a sympathetic judge or senator and somehow manage to always get themselves out of trouble, continue to keep themselves going, and they continue to torture more and more disabled people every single year. The only true hope any of these kids have, both present and in the future, is to get these people shut down. So please sign that petition. Again, takes less than 5 minutes. All right, two disclaimers. First off, when we talk about the JRC, you are going to hear vivid descriptions of, as well as sometimes seeing, clips of video surveillance video showing the torture and abuse of people with disabilities. If you have young ones present, please wear your headphones. And folks, as you've already noticed this morning, I am barely coherent. It is stupid o'clock, 4:32 a.m. in the morning. So, if I stumble like that, please, my apologies in advance. Alright, so this one was placed by Jennifer Msumba on November the 21st, 2014. And yes, we're going to read the little disclaimer. The Judge Rotenberg Center, JRC, is a residential facility in Massachusetts where disabled residents are subject to electric shock, sensory assault, food deprivation, prolonged restraint and seclusion, and a host of other horrifying aversive treatments. The United Nations has condemned the JRC's treatment of its residents as torture, and disability rights advocates have been trying to get the facility shut down for over 30 years. The Autistic Self-Advocacy Network has previously published an in-depth piece about the history and practices of the JRC, which we have gone over that on the channel, but if you want to read it, just go to that link in my description and you can click read here. This post is the third of the 4-part series written by Jennifer, a survivor of the JRC. We are extremely grateful to have her permission to publish this brave account of her own experiences, the so-called treatments the JRC provides. Okay, so back to Jennifer's point of view, folks. I'm going to try to mentally prepare myself here. Most people know that the JRC uses aversives like shock, food deprivation, restraints, and seclusion. One would hope, but I've found to differ, unfortunately, Jennifer. Found a lot of people who know nothing about this case, which is sad. Everybody needs to know what's happening here. People's human rights are being violated. People are being tortured. People need to know. But I also want people to know that they use other tactics to demean and punish students. Oh my god, here we go. One of the absolute worst things that happened to me there was having my self care on the 4-point board. Oh Jesus. Self care is what they call your hygiene time, shower, etc. This was done to me both before and after I was on the GED. Two female staff members would bring me to the upstairs bathroom and lock me on the restraint board, face up. Then they stripped my clothes off and bathed me like a sponge bath. They touched my private areas against my will. I was completely helpless. This is a whole other kind of abuse, and it happened to me and other students. This corroborates, by the way, that anonymous account of exactly this. Folks, think about that. Not only are they doing this, but they have the monitor watching this on camera. Oh my god. Oh my god. Uh, and this place is still open. Before they should be told that they have to release all surveillance tapes in regards to an investigation. I'm just saying. Before I was on the GED, they made me bathe like that every day. And after I was on the GED, they used it as a punishment if I was on LOP. You don't get to bathe yourself? Although that part is very hard to talk about, I feel it is important that people know the truth. If I screamed while they were touching me, I got shocked. And there were monitor staff also watching the whole thing on camera. Oh my god. The 4-point board was also used a lot for shocking students. There was a time that it was happening all the time. The JRC claims it doesn't use the board this way anymore, and I'm skeptical of that claim. Me too. I call bullshit. But it doesn't matter because they hurt so many of us that way. Truth. The video of Andre McCollins being shocked on the board tells the story. It's absolutely terrifying. The anticipation and the helplessness of being tied down and not knowing when another shock is coming. And that was the point to add more fear to the shock. I had this done to me many times. Only sick people can think this is okay. They used to bring students into my classroom to put them on the board and shock them, right in the middle of everything else going on. Jesus Christ. One time they had two kids side by side on boards, getting shocked at the same time. We had to walk around them. One kid they brought in was put in a restraint chair. They were shocking him for what seemed like an hour or more. He was drenched in sweat. This kid, now a grown man, has spoken out publicly about this. And JRC's lawyer claimed it wasn't true and that he was only shocked a few times his whole stay. That is a lie. I saw it with my own eyes. All they do is lie. Private investigations have shown all they do is lie. JRC also used, and might still use, BRLs, behavioral rehearsal lessons. I never had it done to me, but I sat next to a guy who did. It scared me so much, and it didn't even happen to me. A stocky, bearded staff member ran in from the hallway and held a plastic spoon roughly to his mouth, screaming and shaking him. Do you want to swallow it? Do you? He was already being kept in a helmet and restraints at all times, and he was screaming no. Then they started shocking him and said, "There's no swallowing objects." God. I was so confused and scared. I would watch the door from then on, and he did come back. JRC also uses starvation as a form of control and punishment. They have the contingent food program, Jesus, and the specialized food program. They are both pretty much the same thing, except in the specialized food program, they do not give you makeup food at the end of the day. I was on the contingent food for a time. They divide your meal up into portions depending on how long your contract is for. My first contract was to earn a part of my meal every 30 minutes that I didn't have a major behavior. You had to earn the right to eat that day? Earn the right to eat. Jesus. Oh my God. They cut my food up into pieces and put it into little plastic cups, often used for salad dressing. I could never eat a full meal, and I could not have anything to eat until we arrived at the school building, which was an hour drive from the residence. They woke us up around 6 a.m. After everything, I usually didn't have any food until about 9:30 a.m. I was miserable. I couldn't think straight. If I had any little behavior, they forced me to stand up and throw away my own food. It was demeaning and torturous. I would have to sit next to other students as they ate their full meals, and I would have to keep working, trying to earn a bite of food. There were many days I lost all my food. Once I got hungry, I couldn't sit still, and I had more and more punishable behaviors. At 7 p.m., they would give me LOP food. LOP food was cold chicken chunks, mashed potatoes, and spinach doused in liver powder. It was vile with the liver powder, which was the point, and I wouldn't eat it. There are some students there who are not programmed for years and years. Along with pinpointing inappropriate behaviors, JRC also makes staff give out fake patronizing praise every 2 minutes. It has to be in a form of super guy girl working on your task, said in a sing song voice, even though most students in my room were years older than the staff. Oh, Jesus Christ. Infantilizing on top of that. God! They set a timer and scream out these fake praises all day, along with all the pinpoints of bad behavior. This is not only demeaning, but makes the school and the residence even more noisy and chaotic. At the residence, there are alarms over every doorway and bed that are constantly going off all night. Monitors watch all the staff constantly and call the class or residents to tell them they are not giving enough pinpoints or asking why they didn't a certain student get a GED. This pressure makes staff go off overboard in pinpointing behaviors, and stress and pressure then come down on the students who suffer even more. The environment is chaos. It is hard to sleep. It is crowded. I was sick with colds and ear infections all the time. Since leaving, I stopped getting sick. Oh, Jesus. What can you even say to all of that? So that corroborates and backs up the letter from the anonymous girl. These are all the same things what Jennifer Msumba is talking about that was brought up by the anonymous letter. If there is enough if there is enough people that back up that are telling the same story, I believe that warrants investigation. Since these folks videotape and watch everything, I think the surveillance tapes from this time period in particular should be subpoenaed immediately. Now, I know Jennifer has a lawsuit against the Judge Rotenberg Center. I believe it's ongoing. I hope to God they think to actually subpoena that video surveillance. Not that I don't trust these fuckers to not try to destroy the tapes, because that's how Matthew Israel was forced to. God, think about it, guys. He went to destroy the evidence of some of the same exact shit they're talking about here, and yet he was allowed in a plea bargain to step down. The bastard belongs in prison. He belongs behind bars. And every last one of these people needs to be investigated. The surveillance tapes need to be gone over with a fine-tooth comb by at least one team of individuals. I'm just saying. And on that thought, we're going to close out for this morning. Now, we don't get very many views on this channel, especially on this topic. The few that we do tend to get removed from time to time. So, folks, please don't forget to hit that like button. Hit subscribe. Don't forget to hit the comments. Feed that algorithm. I do appreciate your time this morning. And as always, we here at Spilling Tea hope you have a good one. Bye-bye.